Imagine being 15 billion miles from home. You are flying through the freezing, pitch-black void of interstellar space, and suddenly, your brain starts to fail. In November of 2023, the most distant human-made object in the universe started sending a terrifying message back to Earth. It wasn't data. It wasn't science. It was pure, chaotic gibberish. After 46 years of perfectly exploring the cosmos, Voyager 1 had seemingly lost its mind, and NASA engineers realized we were about to lose our greatest explorer forever. But what happened next is the greatest, most impossible rescue mission in the history of human space exploration. Because not only did a group of engineers, some in their 80s, pull off a miracle from 15 billion miles away, but they kept Voyager alive for a mind-bending milestone happening this very year, in 2026. A milestone so massive, it will change the way you look at the universe forever. To understand how insane this rescue mission was, you have to understand what Voyager 1 actually is. Launched in 1977, Voyager 1 runs on technology that belongs in a museum. Its computers have hundreds of thousands of times less memory than the smartphone in your pocket right now. It is powered by a decaying heart of radioactive plutonium, and it is currently traveling at a blistering 38,000 miles per hour. It is so far away that it has literally left our solar system. It is in interstellar space, the uncharted ocean between the stars. But here is the scary part. When Voyager 1 broke down in late 2023, you couldn't just send a mechanic to fix it. Voyager is so unimaginably distant that when NASA sends a command at the speed of light, the absolute speed limit of the universe, it takes almost a full 24 hours just to get there. And then you have to sit in agonizing silence for another 24 hours just to hear if the spacecraft responds. Imagine trying to fix a broken computer, but every time you press a button on the keyboard, you have to wait 2 entire days to see if the screen changes. For 5 agonizing months, NASA played this cosmic game of chess. They discovered that a single, tiny memory chip inside Voyager's 1970s brain had died. The code it needed to talk to Earth was trapped inside that dead chip. So, they did the impossible. From 15 billion miles away, they carefully sliced the code into tiny pieces and hid those pieces in empty, unused corners of the spacecraft's remaining ancient memory. On April 18, 2024, they hit send on the final fix. Then they waited. For 45 hours, the entire team held their breath. If this failed, Voyager 1 was dead. Humanity's farthest outpost would become nothing more than a piece of frozen space junk. It blinked back. It made sense again. From the edge of the abyss, Voyager 1 essentially said, "I am still here." But then, something else happened. Just when they thought Voyager was safe, a second, even deadlier crisis struck. To talk to Earth, Voyager 1 has to keep its giant antenna pointed exactly at our planet. If it shifts even a fraction of a degree, the signal vanishes into the void, forever. To keep itself perfectly aligned, it fires tiny thrusters, little puffs of gas. But after 47 years of firing in the freezing cold of deep space, the thruster tubes were getting clogged. They were dying. Voyager was slowly starting to drift. It was turning its face away from home. There was only one option left. Voyager had a set of backup thrusters, but scientists hadn't turned them on since the year 2004. They had been sitting dead, frozen in the negative 400-degree vacuum of space for 20 years. What if turning them on caused a pressure spike that blew the spacecraft apart? What if they were frozen solid? With time running out, NASA sent the command to carefully warm up the frozen pipes. Again, they waited the grueling 45-hour round trip. And once again, the the 48-year-old machine defied the odds. The thrusters fired perfectly. Voyager 1 snapped back into place, staring directly at Earth. These impossible repairs weren't just about saving a piece of metal. They were keeping Voyager alive for a moment in history that is happening right now. In November of 2026, Voyager 1 is crossing a boundary that is almost impossible for the human brain to comprehend. It is becoming the first human-made object to be one light day away from Earth. Think about what that actually means. Light is the fastest thing in the universe. It travels at 186,000 miles per second. In one single second, light can wrap around the entire Earth 7 times. It takes light just 8 minutes to reach us from the sun. But Voyager 1 has traveled so unimaginably far that if you were to stand on Earth and shine a giant flashlight directly at it, that beam of light wouldn't reach the spacecraft until tomorrow. It is 16 billion miles away, 26 billion kilometers. It is flying through an ocean of nothingness that we call the interstellar medium, a place filled with the ghostly remains of long-dead stars. Every single day, it leaves everything we have ever known further and further behind. And yet, it is still talking to us, measuring the emptiness, whispering its secrets back into the dark. To truly grasp the magnitude of this achievement, we have to look back at how this impossible journey began. In the early 1970s, scientists noticed something incredible was about to happen. A rare planetary alignment that only occurs once every 176 years was approaching. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune were going to swing into a perfect cosmic curve. This meant that if NASA launched a spacecraft at exactly the right time, it could use the gravity of each planet like a slingshot, boosting its speed and throwing it toward the next planet. They called it the Grand Tour. They built 2 identical twin spacecraft, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. They were masterpieces of engineering, but compared to today, they were incredibly primitive. The engineers wrapped the cables in aluminum foil from the grocery store, just to protect them from radiation. The computer code was written by hand on massive sheets of paper. But these fragile machines were about to rewrite our entire understanding of the solar system. When Voyager 1 reached Jupiter in 1979, the images it sent back shocked the world. Before Voyager, Jupiter was just a blurry dot in our telescopes. Suddenly, it was a terrifying, beautiful monster. A swirling ball of violent storms, including the Great Red Spot, a hurricane 3 times the size of Earth that has been raging for centuries. But the biggest shock wasn't Jupiter. It was Jupiter's moon, Io. As Voyager flew past, it captured something impossible. Massive, umbrella-shaped plumes erupting from the surface. Voyager had discovered active volcanoes on another world, the first ever found outside of Earth. It proved that our solar system was not dead and frozen, but alive and violently active. Then, Voyager 1 was slingshotted towards Saturn. Arriving in 1980, it revealed that Saturn's rings were not solid bands, but millions of individual icy tracks, perfectly carved by the gravity of hidden moons. But NASA had a choice to make. Saturn had a massive, mysterious moon called Titan. Scientists desperately wanted to look at it closely, because they believed Titan had a thick atmosphere, maybe even liquid oceans. But flying close enough to study Titan meant sacrificing the rest of the grand tour. The trajectory would fling Voyager 1 up and completely out of the plane of the solar system. It would never visit another planet again. NASA made the call. They sacrificed Voyager 1's planetary mission to look at Titan. The spacecraft flew dangerously close to the giant moon, revealing a thick orange smog of hydrocarbons. It was a world eerily similar to a prehistoric Earth. And just like that, its planetary mission was over. The gravity of Saturn threw Voyager 1 upward, pointing it directly into the blackness of deep space. Its new mission was simply to fly as far as it possibly could until it died. But before it left our neighborhood forever, the legendary astronomer Carl Sagan made a highly controversial request. In 1990, when Voyager 1 was 4 billion miles away, flying just beyond the orbit of Neptune, Sagan asked NASA to turn the camera around. He wanted Voyager to take one final picture of Earth. Many engineers argued against it. Pointing the camera anywhere near the sun could fry the optics. And from that distance, Earth wouldn't even show up as a feature. It would be a waste of time. But Sagan insisted. He knew that the scientific value was zero, but the philosophical value was infinite. NASA finally agreed. Voyager turned its camera back toward home and snapped a series of 60 images. When the photo was downloaded to Earth, people were stunned. Caught in a scattered ray of sunlight was a tiny, pale blue dot. It took up less than a single pixel on the screen. Every human being who ever lived, every king, every peasant, every war, every love story, happened on that one microscopic speck of dust suspended in a sunbeam. It is still one of the most profound photographs ever taken in human history. And after that photo was snapped, Voyager permanently turned its cameras off to save power. It was flying blind into the unknown. For decades, it just kept flying. It was hunting for a boundary, the edge of our sun's influence. Our sun constantly blows out a massive bubble of solar wind, a magnetic shield that protects our planets from the harsh radiation of the rest of the galaxy. This bubble is called the heliosphere. But scientists had no idea where the bubble ended and where true interstellar space began. In August of 2012, something strange happened to Voyager's sensors. The heat and radiation from the sun suddenly plummeted. At the exact same time, the bombardment of cosmic rays from deep space spiked drastically. Voyager 1 had punched through the wall. It had crossed the heliopause. For the first time in the history of our species, a human-made object had left the solar system. Which brings us back to today. Voyager 1 is out there, right now, 14 years into its interstellar journey, surviving near-fatal glitches and freezing temperatures. But scientists still cannot escape a heartbreaking reality. No matter how many miracles NASA engineers pull off, Voyager 1 is dying. Its plutonium power source loses about 4 watts of power every single year. To keep it alive, NASA has been slowly turning off its instruments, one by one, closing its eyes to the universe to save its brain. Sometime in the 2030s, the power will drop too low. The computers will shut down. The radio will go silent. For the first time since 1977, Voyager 1 will be truly alone. But that is not the end of the story. In fact, it is just the beginning. Bolted to the side of Voyager is a golden record, a time capsule. It contains images of humans, the sounds of wind and rain, the laughter of a child, and greetings in 55 different languages. It includes the brainwaves of a young woman in love. It includes the music of Mozart, Chuck Berry, and a blind blues singer named Blind Willie Johnson. It even includes a map made of pulsars, dead spinning stars, giving specific instructions on how to find our tiny blue planet. Long after its power dies, Voyager will keep flying. In 300 years, it will enter the Oort cloud, a massive theoretical shell of icy comets at the very outer edge of our sun's gravitational grip. It will take 30,000 years just to fly out the other side of it. In 40,000 years, it will pass near a completely different star system called Gliese 445. It will fly for millions, perhaps billions of years. It will orbit the center of the Milky Way galaxy long after the Earth is swallowed by the sun. Long after our cities have turned to dust and our oceans have boiled away. What if millions of years from now, someone or something finds it in the dark? Voyager 1 was built to explore Jupiter and Saturn. It was only supposed to last 5 years. Instead, it became the ultimate symbol of humanity, a fragile, tiny machine built by curious creatures on a pale blue dot, flying bravely into the eternal, freezing dark. We built a bottle, put a message inside, and threw it into the endless cosmic ocean. And even when we are gone, Voyager will still be out there, a silent monument to the fact that once we existed, and we reached for the stars. Keep looking up.